All right, everyone. Today's exercise we're going to focus on is helping to open up the hip flexor region here, which often gets tight when we do a lot of sitting or we don't do a lot of strengthening type exercises for our hip flexor region. So setting up in this half kneeling position, as Coach Mike is demonstrating here, we're targeting on helping to open up range of motion on the front of the hip. We call this exercise hip flexor pails and rails, which is just progressive and regressive angular isometric loading. So to start, you're gonna get in this stretch position as he's demonstrating now. Make sure you don't overarch at the low back, kind of like that yoga pose, that you're keeping that in a more or less neutral position. So you're feeling the stretch on the front of the hip here. Now, after about a minute of sitting in this position, we're gonna start the pails contraction, which is him driving his shin into the ground, contracting the muscles here. It's almost like as if he was trying to kick a soccer ball, he's contracting through here. As you're doing this pails contraction, you're gonna do it for about a 5 to 7 second hold. And during that time, you're ramping up how hard you're driving into the ground. So he's really starting to drive that shin as he's holding this position for that 5 to 7 seconds. After that, we're gonna go through the rails contraction, which is going in the opposite direction. He's actually gonna try to attempt to lift his heel to bring his heel to his glute, squeezing the hamstrings. Now, most people, they may start to cramp up when doing this exercise. Go ahead and just stretch it out in the runner's lunge position and get back to it. That's something we call neurologic confusion. Your body's just unsure what you're doing. So to prevent it from getting any potential injuries, it'll go through a spasm to get you to stop doing it. The more you practice, the better you'll become at it. Now, for this cycle, same thing, 5 to 7 second contractions, ramping up how hard you're trying to bring the heel and the glute together. He'll slowly parachute his leg down. He'll go into a deeper stretch so we can do round 2. So he'll go ahead and drive his shin into the ground, contracting through here, and then he'll hold that for that 5 to 7 seconds, slowly relax, staying in this position, bringing that heel to his glute again, and holding that 5 to 7 seconds. Now you can eventually increase it into 10 seconds or longer. This is just a starting foundational exercise. We also want to do 3 total rounds, so he'll go in deeper again, do another round of the pails and rails contraction. It's a great way to help open up the hip flexors when you're feeling really tight there, start to improve hip range of motion as well through that flexion and extension.